The Funhouse corpse in the 1970s. There was a horrifying discovery. What the Carnival Funhouse had been presenting as a creepy prop was actually a real human corpse. And the story claims that the mannequin had been hanging as a decoration for years, with thousands of people passing by taking photos and event ouching it without ever realizing they were interacting with actual human remains. And carnival workers regularly positioned and repainted the prop, believing it to be just another spooky decoration. And it was even said that children were often surprised by how realistic it looked, unaware they were staring at a genuine corpse. And the truth behind this legend is the case of Elmer McCurdy, an unsuccessful train robber killed in a 1911 shootout with police in Oklahoma. And after his death, Noon claimed his body, so funeral director embalmed it with arsenic and displayed it for paying customers, and the body was later sold to various traveling carnivals and haunted houses. And McCurdy's mummified remains eventually ended up at the New Pike Amusement Park in Long Beach, California, and in December 1976 during the filming of the $6 Million Mannequin. Member removed the mannequin, causing its arm to break off and revealing human bone, and medical examiners soon confirmed it was a real human body, and investigations found the corpse had been painted multiple times with phosphorus paint and decorated as various props throughout the years, and McCurdy's body had traveled across America as a carnival attraction for 65 years before anyone realized the truth, and he was finally buried in Summit View Cemetery in Oklahoma. Homemade 1977. The Bunny Man in Virginia lists the Colchester Overpass, also known as the Bunny Man Bridge. And legend says that in 1904, during a transfer of patients from an asylum, their bus crashed and all were recaptured except Winnie. And soon after dead bunnies began appearing in the area, many hanged on the Fairfax Station Bridge. And the first documented encounter came on October 19, 1970. When USA Air Force Academy cadet Bob Bennett and his fiancée were parked near the bridge when they noticed movement in the darkness, and suddenly a figure in a white rabbit costume with long ears approached, yelled at them for trespassing, then threw an axe that shattered the passenger side window. And Bennett's fiancée disagreed with his description, saying the figure wore long pointy headwear instead of a bunny suit. And 10 days later, on October 29th, security guard Paul Phillips saw a man in a rabbit suit on the porch of an unfinished home in Kings Park West, and the figure chopped at the porch with an axe, ailing about trespassers, and when he saw Phillips, had threatened to chop off his head if he came closer in. D. Phillips fled, and after these events, about 50 people reported seeing the Bunny Man, and both cases were investigated, and the reports remain in Fairfax County records, but no speck was found, and the original Bunny Man was never caught. Yet this legend lives on, and the Colchester Overpass still stands today. The Green Man, also known locally as Charlie No Face, was a man named Raymond Robinson who walked the empty roads of Beaver County, Pennsylvania at night, and the Green Man's face was deformed from a tragic accident in 1919 when Raymond Robinson, at 8 years old, was seriously injured while attempting to examine a bird's nest on the Morado Bridge near Beaver Falls, and while climbing the bridge, Robinson touched a power line carrying 22,000 volts of electricity. And the accident was documented in local newspapers, which reported that young Raymond had been severely disfigured and lost this eyes, nose, and right arm. And what transformed Robinson from a tragic accident victim into a living legend was his habit of taking long walks at night along State Route 351 between Coppell and New Galilee, and unable to work traditional jobs due to his injuries. Robinson spent his days crafting leather wallets and belts at his family's home, and he would goon solitary walks along the rural road at night when there wouldn't be people outside, because he didn't wish to scare others over his choy. Seamadetus Scarier experience for residents of Beaver County who drove along Route 351 at night, and they would frequently spot Robinson walking along the road, his injured faces sometimes appearing to glow green in their headlights, hence the nickname Green Man. And what makes Robinson's story particularly compelling is the way it transformed from documented fact into regional folklore. And while many who encountered him at night were frightened, those who took the time to speak with Robinson found him to be friendly and intelligent, and he would stop to chat with curious teenagers who sought them out, and some locals would offer him cigarettes or beer interactions, confirmed by multiple independent accounts and newspaper interviews, and Robinson continued his nighttime walks until his death in 1985. The dead body under the mattress. There have been urban legends about dead bodies under mattresses throughout all of history. And what makes this particular urban legend so terrifying isn't just its dreadful nature. It's the fact that it has proven true multiple times across different decades and locations, and the reality has matched the legend with extreme accuracy. And the most notorious verified case occurred in 1999 at the Ocean View Motel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. where guests had complained for days about a pervasive sickening odor in room 1112, and the smell was dismissed as everything from a dead rat to a backed-up sewage system, and multiple guests checked in and out of the room, each complaining about the stench each sleeping unknowingly above a corpse. And when housekeeping finally investigated thoroughly, they discovered the decomposing body of Saul Hernandez, carefully concealed inside the box spring of the bed, and the verification of this urban legend led to changes in hotel protocols across the country, and many establishments now require more ether room inspections, including checking under mattresses and inside box springs, and some hotels have even switched to platform beds or sealed mattress units to prevent their use as hiding places. People in the walls, someone secretly watching within the walls, has long held a place in many urban legends, and as it turns out, this particular horror story idea has a basis in documented reality, making it all the more disturbing a case resembling the legends occurred in 1986 in Pepperell, Massachusetts, where a man named Daniel Leant was discovered to have been secretly living within the walls of a family's home for an extended period. Leant, a convicted criminal, had accessed the house through his mall crawl space and started living there. Emerging when the family was away to eat their food, move their belongings, and even watch them through holes. She had drilled. Something similar happened in 2008 in Japan, when a homeless woman was found living in a man's closet for over a year. She had snuck in through a tiny crack in the closet and remained hidden, only coming out when the homeowner was away. Loyon, extensively covered by Swiss media, particularly by Le Matin newspaper in 2013. Unlike many folklore figures, this mysterious person was photographed multiple times with verifiable sightings by local residents spanning a decade in the Mols region of Switzerland. Leon was first documented around 2003 when residents began reporting encounters with a tall figure in the woods. What distinguished these sightings from typical urban legends was their consistency. The person always wore the same outfit of vintage. Military gas mask and thick camouflage coat. A local photographer was able to get a photograph of Leon, which marked a significant step forward in documenting his presence. This photograph, which appeared in Swiss publications, showed exactly what witnesses had ascribed: a person dressed in military uniform, traveling alone through the forest paths. The photograph served to prove that this wasn't just local talk, but aerial person. The most concrete proof came in September 2013, when Leon's entire costume was deliberately left in the woods. Then, Odethat was found, which was published in part by Swiss media, mentioned the recent increased attention they had received. Local police confirmed the discovery of the artifacts, a note making this one of their masked, forwarded, but fifth-figure support and physical evidence and official paperwork. Cropsey legend was about a deranged individual who would wander Staten Island's Willowbrook Mental Institution grounds after dark in the 1970s and 1980s. Cropsey was attributed to the disappearances of many children in the area. Many of the legends describe Cropsey as an escaped mental patient. He was most often described either wielding a bloody axe or with a hook for a hand in reality. Cropsey was found to be Andre Randa, former Willowbrook orderly who would become one of Staten Island's most notorious criminals. Rand worked at the institution during its most notorious period, a time when patients were subjected to extreme neglect and abuse. After the institution's closure, he continued to haunt the periphery of the community, becoming area life embodiment of the Cropsey legend. Rand was convicted of kidnapping multiple young girls with suspicions of involvement in numerous disappearances. His actual crimes mirrored the urban legend, almost precisely targeting vulnerable young women and operating around institutional grounds. The first confirmed kidnapping attry, buted to Rand, was that of Jennifer Schweer in 1987. She was a 12-year-old girl with Down syndrome, exactly the type of vulnerable victim. The Cropsey legend had described Rand a total of 5 notable alleged victims, and in 1988, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Toxic Lady. According to the Toxic Lady legend, a mysterious woman arrived at a California hospital in the 1990s, and when medical staff drew her blood, toxic fumes caused hospital workers to collapse. East, the tale spread, it grew more dramatic. Some versions claimed her body melted through floors and her presence caused equipment malfunctions. The legend describes hazmat teams quarantining hospital wings and staff falling ill from merely being near the woman. Stories tell of her skin's oily sheen, highly acidic blood, and strange odors that induced unconsciousness. The tale typically ends with her death and body being sealed in special containment. The truth behind this legend is the case of Gloria Ramirez in 1994. She arrived at Riverside General Hospital with advanced cervical cancer and heart problems. Medical staff noticed an oily sheen on her skin, and after drawing her blood, detected an ammonia-like smell. Hospital workers began experiencing nausea, breathing problems, and muscle spasms. 23 people, fellow 5 needing hospitalization, with one worker requiring Tubation, the emergency room was evacuated and decontaminated by a hazmat team. Ramirez died from kidney failure shortly after arrival. Scientists believe this occurred because Ramirez used DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, for pain relief. Here, organ failure may have converted it to DMSO2, then DMSO4, a toxic compound that caused the staff's symptoms while lacking supernatural elements like melting floors. The real events were strange enough to inspire numerous urban legends. If you enjoyed this story and want more creepy, fascinating, and unbelievable tales just like it, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe so you never miss what's coming next.